Hi, beautiful people. Welcome to the Fort Salem Library, where we read you your fanfiction. So sit down or don't, relax or don't, and enjoy these stories in a way you have not before. We at Fort Salem Library do not own Motherland Fort Salem or any of the related characters. The Motherland Fort Salem series is created by Elliot Lawrence and owned by Freeform. This story is a work of fanfiction and is meant for entertainment only. We are not making any profit from these stories. All rights of the original Motherland Fort Salem story belong to Freeform. We also do not own Don't Let Your Aim Ever Stray, or any of its original characters and storylines. We did, however, get permission from the author to read their story. This story was created and written by Pengukat, and you can find the link in our show notes. This story is being read to you by Dani.
Don't let your aim ever stray. Everyone is given the chance to, in no particular order, meet a lifelong idol, a star athlete in college track and field, someone long admired since childhood in person, and then get to work with them in their management chain of command and in the same consulting firm long after they have become a titan in their chosen professional field, the very same one that you have chosen. Have their idol become a favored and trusted mentor and become trusted in return. Uncover corporate wrongdoing and subsequent cover ups perpetuated by said mentor. After much agony and soul searching, expose said mentor in a most public and humiliating manner in front of all their peers at the annual State of the Company meeting. Watch their idol resign in disgrace. Sometime later, learn their former mentor has been hit by a car or something. Learn that their former mentor has blocked them on all messaging apps, phone, social media platforms, and any other possible means of communication. Never talk to their mentor again. Never get to apologize. And so, it happens that the last place that Tally Craven expects to run into the woman everyone at work simply addressed as Alder is at a hot yoga class at the new gym she's decided to try out. One mat behind her to the left, staring straight at a pair of yoga bottoms, hugging an apparently very finely sculpted ass. It is not that Tally is eyeballing said ass. It is that Alder is directly positioned in her line of sight in front of the instructor, and Tally wants to make sure she's doing the rabbit pose correctly, and Alder's ass is getting in the way. She allows herself to be distracted by the muscle tone in her former mentor's shoulder blades, prior to now hidden under well-fitting blouses and professional suit jackets, now exposed by a simple black tank top. Before she remembers the exact nature of the reason why she has not seen Sarah Alder for over a year and a half now. Tally wobbles precariously on her knees, nearly losing her balance, a new layer of sweat breaking out on her skin having nothing to do with the 100-degree Fahrenheit room temperature. Maybe it's not even Alder. New York is filled with long-haired brunette beauties with ponytails cascading down the length of their backs, their sapphire blue eyes doing nothing to cool down the room, their proud noses and cheekbones shining with sweat, all of them equally capable of attending the same hot yoga class Tally has walked into at random. Maybe the other woman hasn't even noticed her yet. Tally can almost convince herself of that fact, even as they switch into spine-twisting pose, and Alder turns her head this way and that. Nope, that's not a widening of the eyes nor a tiny flare of the nostrils in recognition. She has not twisted her head back to get a closer look. It's just pure coincidence. They are not making eye contact, not at all. Tally does not fall flat on her face trying to look away. It's just more convenient to use her face to prop herself up when her arms aren't available. When the class is finally over, Tally remains motionless with her eyes closed in corpse pose, paying no mind to the hum and shuffle of the other people around her. It has been a most agonizing 90 minutes, and not because of the heat and physical exertion. She misses the usual lazy euphoria and relaxing fatigue that comes with a satisfying workout. But she can't remain like this forever. Tally pushes herself up on her arms and cracks her eyes open for a look. The woman who is most certainly not, probably not, oh, who is she kidding? It's totally Alder, is sitting on her mat, legs stretched out in front of her, leaning on one arm propped against the floor, the other arm tilting a water bottle back as she chugs. The water leaks from the side of her mouth and traces a path down her chin, dripping to her chest and mingling with the sweat already pooled above her breasts. Tally is totally not staring at where that water bead ended up. No, ma'am, nope. Alder's eyes are up there, and Tally is looking respectfully at those eyes. And now they are fully making eye contact. They are the only two people in the room still in their original positions, everyone else rolling their mats up, packing up to hit the showers or head home. It is a stalemate that to Tally drags on forever or only lasts for a few seconds. However long it is, she is the one to break the silence. So, I heard you got hit by a car. Tally winces the moment she says it as she pushes herself up to a kneeling position so she may face the other woman properly. Alder finishes a gulp of water and raises a singular curved eyebrow. I'm really glad to see you're doing all right now, though, Tally rushes to add. You look really, really good. Your body, I mean, your form, you don't look hurt. You look really strong, really fit, like really, really fit. It wasn't too serious. Alder shrugs. Well, good. That's really, really good. Tally's shoulders sag from a tension she didn't realize she was holding. I'm really glad to hear. Alder nods, taking another drink, her eyes not leaving Tally's. I'm really glad, Tally repeats. I never got a chance to tell you that. That I was sorry to hear you got into a car accident, I mean. Alder nods again. There is another silence. This is my first time trying out this class. This gym, in fact, Tally offers. Is that so? Yeah, I moved recently and it's kind of on my way home, so I wanted to give it a shot, Tally continues. But it's hard to know what to say under that intense stare. And she's answering questions that Alder hasn't asked with information that Alder has indicated no interest in. I like it. I think I might come again. Do you come here a lot? Alder's face freezes for a split second, and inside, Tally dies silently at all of it. What is she doing? What is she even expecting? You know what? Never mind. Tally hastily clambers to her feet, packing up, rolling up her mat, shoving everything into her bag. It was nice running into you. Good to see that you're doing all right after everything. The pause is pregnant with unspoken and unclarified intent. All right, see you around? But Sarah has already glanced away, looking at a spot on the floor near her feet. Tally turns on her heel, headed for the door, and then she immediately spins back on her heel and marches right up to Alder's mat. Listen, Tally says urgently, and there's a weird, heady feeling as the other woman tilts her neck back to look up at her, as Tally looks down at the woman below, and it's making Tally dizzy. So Tally drops to her knees, sitting on her heels. Her fingers begin kneading the fabric of her tights. There's a lot I never got a chance to tell you. There's just so much I want you to know. So much. Tally's eyes are darting around the room, looking over Alder's shoulder, to the corner of the room, over the top of her head, anywhere but Alder's face. Please, if only I could have the chance. I just want to tell you that, what should I say? I don't even know where to start. When Alder chuckles lightly, it comes as a shock. Tally's gaze snaps right back up into focus, just in time to see the corner of a small smile bloom on the other woman's face. It's all right, Craven, Alder says gently, and oh, the indescribable warmth that floods through Tally's body, the sheer relief at the familiarity of something long missed and now found again. Just like that, it's 1.5 years ago, and they are just Craven and Alder again, smiling at each other over some mutual joke, some unsolicited but practical advice, some small gesture of support. It's like no time has passed at all, and yet it's been a while, Alder observes. It has, Tally agrees quickly. What are your plans after this? Alder tilts her head. If you're free, you want to grab some dinner together? Plans, besides taking the subway home, returning to the apartment she shared with no one, heating up some leftover Chinese takeout, firing up her laptop to finish the status report due at the end of the week, and falling asleep on the couch in front of the TV to whatever show she'd been too tired to catch up on? I'm free, Tally hastily responds. She gets to her feet. I'll hit the showers first. I'll meet you there. I mean, not in the showers, like after we're done showering or before. No, wait. Definitely after. I got you. Alder is definitely smiling now. It's actually never mind. I'll catch up with you. Tally wants to linger and ask Alder what she means, but Alder has turned her attention to packing up her gear, and Tally beats a hasty retreat so that she does not, once again, find herself staring at Alder's ass. Tally's hot shower, like today's hot yoga session, does not bring with its usual satisfying relaxation. It starts well enough, but then someone enters the shower stall next to hers, and when the humming starts, she recognizes the voice and realizes she is showering next to a naked Alder. Unless Alder showers in her clothes, which is highly unlikely, and there is literally zero reason for such an assumption except that Telly wants to desperately avoid thinking about a naked Alder, and then she wants to desperately avoid thinking about why she needs to avoid thinking about a naked Alder. And so, somehow, instead she remembers Alder in workout clothes, which is equally unhelpful, and Tally spends the remainder of her shower slowly pressing and removing her forehead from the shower tile in deep breathing. Only after she hears the water turn off next to her and the sounds of the person in the stall next to her slowly disappearing does she emerge, and she quickly towels off and throws on a clean t-shirt and slacks. Alder is waiting for her in the gym lobby, changed into a loose tank top, a long billowing skirt, and sandals, without a trace of surprise or judgment that Tally left for the showers before her and finished after. What are you in the mood for? Alder asks instead. Any food preferences, restrictions, allergies? Tally is honestly fine with anything Alder wants and says so. She leaves out the part that she's just too relieved for this opportunity that she refuses to do anything more than she might already be doing to jeopardize it. You sure? Anything. Alder checks again. Anything, Tally promises, and this is how she finds herself seated on a park bench with a small grilled chicken sandwich in her hands and a small side of sweet potato fries at her side. Beside her, Alder is attacking her own cheeseburger with gusto. Tally watches in fascination as Alder munches and swallows in satisfaction, shoving a French fry or two in her mouth in between massive burger bites. Alder's post-gym go-to burger and sandwich place did not strike Tally as the most obvious choice for a post-workout meal. But when they arrived at the small storefront, Alder did check in with Tally one more time if she was absolutely sure she was okay with the food choice, and Tally was in too agreeable of a mood to say otherwise. Food all right? Alder nods at Tally's hands, and Tally offers a tentative thumbs up in return. The chicken tastes pretty good, and the bun is toasted just right. Tally tries to remember seeing Alder ever eating anything but salads and granola bowls, and draws a blank. Maybe the occasional chicken wrap? The Alder she had encountered so far today is incongruous with the one that is in her memories. So, Alder glances sidelong at Tally. How's life been treating you? Where to begin? What to even share? How do you catch up with an old acquaintance with everything that's happened in your life since you publicly humiliated them and sold them up the river? Busy. Really, really busy. In a good way. Tally tries. You enjoying what you're working on? Yeah, yeah, I think so. Sort of. It has its moments, but it can be a lot. You know, Tally laughs awkwardly. Don't let them work you too hard, Alder says, her tone light, her eyes unreadable. Tally decides to steer clear of work talk. Got some time off to go home and visit my mother a few months ago for a couple weeks. That was really nice. Alder nods, humming in all the right places as Tally offers up dribs and drabs of her personal life. And I recently moved nearby, still unpacking all my boxes. She shares details of the move, the neighborhood she's in now, the new routine she's had to learn, how she's been settling in, the small new daily discoveries she's making, the sort you discover when you first move to a new place and uncover all its patterns and habits. If you're looking for any recommendations, I'm happy to give you some, Alder says when Tally pauses. I know this area pretty well. How's that? I live around here too. Tally coughs on a mouthful of chicken. She had no idea. Have you, lived here long? About a year or so. Alder must have moved too, apparently, after the car accident she was in. It's a really great neighborhood. Lots of people moving in lately. "Mm, that it is," Alder agrees with fondness in her voice. She offers no more, and after finishing the remainder of her sandwich, with nothing to do with her hands, Tally can no longer hold it in. So what happened after everything? Tally asks tentatively. Alder raises an eyebrow as she continues to chew on her burger. You just disappeared off the face of the planet. No one I talked to knew how to get in touch with you. Alder takes the time to swallow slowly before responding. Can you blame me? No, no, of course not. And I don't, not at all, not one bit. Tally says sincerely. It's just, I, it wasn't an easy time for me. Alder's voice is still mild, but she's lowered the remainder of her burger to her lap now. She is looking straight at Tally as she speaks, and Tally wants desperately to look away, and doesn't. It can't have been, Tally says softly. What happened to you? No. What happened to you? It's what I did. What I did that. Not just you, Alder cuts in. She's refusing to let Tally's version of events stand, refusing to let Tally take on all the credit, or guilt, or responsibility, whichever one applies. No, but I started it. I made it happen. You did, Alder agrees. I'm sorry. Tally exhales in misery. It wasn't right. Now Alder looks surprised. Why do you say that? It's just, it just wasn't. Tally is surprised at Alder's surprise. It wasn't fair to you. Alder raises her food to her lips again, then lowers it, then changes her mind a few more times. Then she puts her food down altogether on the bench next to her. Craven, if you had the choice, would you do it all again? Tally blinks. No! I mean, of course not. Why would you think that I would? But the look in Alder's sharp blue eyes isn't one of gratitude or relief. Her gaze is intense, heavy, calculating. The corner of her mouth is set, her lips pressed together, and she's looking at Tally like Tally is an equation to solve. Tally feels a surge of recognition. She is being evaluated. Her former mentor is judging how she will answer, judging her. Tally takes a deep breath. Not in the same way, at least, not in such a venue, not so publicly. What would you have done instead? Honestly, Tally isn't sure. These questions are excavating a box of memories that Tally has subconsciously avoided revisiting for some time now. Back then, Tally did what she had done to Alder because, well, she tried everything else. She tried bringing it up to Alder. She'd been stonewalled and avoided. She had wanted to talk to other managers, other senior directors, but none of them would hear her out because Alder's rank in the company. In the end, she was left with sharing everything she knew and had discovered in front of the whole firm, some of their most important clients and their most trusted business partners, because that was the only way she could get anyone to listen. And they did. Alder was toxic after that. She would never work in their industry again. No one would ever want anything to do with her. She was effectively ruined. I should have left you some way out, Kelly whispers. A graceful exit. Something like that. Would I have listened? Alder says wryly. Tally covers her mouth, but the laugh escapes anyway. I guess not. They both know Tally knows Alder too well. At least I shouldn't have let you walk out of there alone. You shouldn't have faced any of that alone. Alder shakes her head. I don't know I could have let anyone be at my side. Not back then. Tally sighs. Well, I know I do something differently, even if I don't know what it is yet. Would you have just let me be? Just pretended you didn't know? Or never knew in the first place? Have helped me even? Tally tenses. This is the test. This is what Alder is waiting for. She closes her eyes, breathes in and out, and looks Alder squarely in the eye. I'm sorry, no, Tally says. What you were doing wasn't right. None of it. It couldn't be allowed to continue. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And with that, there's a gleam of satisfaction in Alder's eyes, like she found what she was looking for. Her whole body relaxes. Craven, there are two things I wanted you to hear from me tonight. Alder crooks her finger conspiratorially towards Tally, who leans in without thinking. The first is, don't be sorry. Her voice is sweet and low. Second is, thank you. Okay, this isn't what Tally expected. What you did, it was hard for me. Really hard, Alder admits, but it was necessary. You did what you had to do, what you felt you had to do. And you did something very few people can say they've done. You've got me to stop and look, and you got me to listen. Tally still sees in her mind's eye vividly like it was yesterday the stunned look on Alder's face watching Tally expose her wrongdoings, the immediate shock, the growing disbelief, the sense of betrayal, and then the cold, still fury. Alder allows herself a sheepish chuckle. Not many people can claim that. You're probably one of the only few who has succeeded, if not the only. Tally looks down at her hands, but a firm hand cups her chin and turns her to face back towards Alder. Tally can't escape those blue eyes. You know you were right. Are right. I couldn't continue what I was doing. Back then, though, I didn't see that. I couldn't see that at all. Alder pauses, and it's only now that Tally can see, no matter how certain Alder's voice is, the uncertainty lingering behind her eyes. Tally nods encouragingly into Alder's hand, and it seems to be what Alder needs to continue. You know, I haven't told many people this, not except maybe my therapist, Alder says quietly, but I want you to hear. She leans back, removing her hand from Tally's face, not breaking eye contact, and Tally finds herself missing the warmth. Being the best, doing whatever I needed to get ahead, whatever means necessary, whatever the cost. Alder shrugs helplessly. It's all I've ever known. It's how I succeeded when I was younger, and then later, in everything in life. Work, relationships, wherever I needed to win. I just did. Until it became second nature, as natural as breathing. I could never imagine doing anything differently. Tally winces. Not many, But some nasty rumors swirled back when Alder was still a collegial athlete, and some of Alder's accomplishments and titles should have asterisks next to them, that some of them were gained under shady means. Tally ignored them, as most people did, dismissing the words as slanderous and jealous allegations against an admired, underprivileged athlete who had defied many odds to get where she did. It stings now to hear that maybe there was some truth to them. That's why, when you came to me asking me about all of it, I genuinely didn't understand what you were saying, Alder admits. None of it made sense to me. It was like you were speaking a different language. Callie remembers those conversations were like talking to a brick wall, a very stubborn, defiant brick wall in denial of reality. In hindsight, maybe Tally and Alder were effectively living two different realities then. Then after it all happened, I had to just get away from it all. I didn't want anything to do with anything anymore. I was just angry, very angry, at everyone, at everything that had happened, but mostly at you. Alder tries to laugh it off, looking ashamed of herself. The truth is, I felt betrayed. Like, how could she do this to me, Because well, it was you. I'm sorry, Tally says, her eyes dipping downward while wondering, me? What's so special about me? Like I said, don't be, Alder insists, also looking away for a moment, before their eyes return to each other at the same time. Everything you said was right. It's on me that I didn't see it at the time. But even though I didn't understand, I just couldn't stop thinking about you, about everything you said. I would just relive our conversations over and over and over. It was kind of obsessive, really. For some reason, this admission and the small sheepish grin on Alder's face makes Tally warm all the way up to her ears, right down to her stomach. And that's why I got hit by a car, Alder announces grandly. Oh my God. Tally covers her mouth. Yeah, Alder nods. I was out on a run, all angry, headphones on, super loud, not paying attention to my surroundings, just stuck in my own head, hearing the same words over and over. And then the next thing you know, I've run out into traffic. Car doesn't stop in time. I don't see the car. Bam! She mimes the body sailing through the air. Oh my God! Tally covers her eyes now. It really wasn't too bad, Alder says comfortingly. Could have been so much worse. You could have died! Tally cries. No, no, the car was going at 25 miles an hour or something. Thank goodness. It was a couple of broken bones, nothing too serious, but it was a wake-up call. I couldn't just keep being stuck like that. And there's nothing like watching your life flash before your eyes to put everything in perspective. After you've been hit by a car, everything else doesn't quite seem so bad. Tally's throat is letting out a high-pitched keening that she has trouble stopping. Do you want to see the scar from my surgery? Alder says hastily. It's all healed up now, so you don't have to worry. Without waiting for an answer, Alder lifts her top up. Tally can see a harsh pale line stand out against the skin along her side. After a pause, when Tally realizes that Alder is still waiting for her to touch her bare skin, she quickly and experimentally prods at the scar running along Alder's side. See? Do you feel it? Everything is all good. It isn't until Alder is convinced that Tally is no longer freaking out about her accident that she allows Tally to stop touching her side, and Tally withdraws her hand partly in gratitude and partly with some other mixed feeling. So, I really had to make some changes in my life after that. Take things easier, focus on recovery, really think about what was really important and how I wanted to spend my time, what I wanted to do in my life, because for some time there wasn't a whole lot I could do. And somehow I began to see the things that actually mattered to me, the things that mattered in my life. Alder is smiling fondly at Tally. And the whole time, your voice was still in my head. But this time, I was really able to hear what you were saying. and I finally understood what you've been trying to tell me. And so, here I am. Alder gestures around her, just doing what brings me joy, taking it one day at a time, and really, I have you to thank for it. The warm, funny feeling in Tally's stomach earlier merges with a tingling in Tally's fingers that had come out of nowhere. But what did I do? Craven, when I saw you tonight, there was a moment I was so happy because I thought to myself, Tally Craven, you haven't changed one bit. You're still the eager, joyful, brilliant, noble person I knew and worked with. Alder's eyes are shining. You've always had a keen sense of what to do, a firm understanding of what you believe in. You saw you needed to take action, and you did so. And in doing so, you set me free. Free? Free from my old life when I thought being on top was the right way. The only way? Craven, I don't want you to be sorry for anything you did. Please don't be sorry. I want you to know how grateful I am, because I would not be here today if not for you. So, thank you. Oh, I've made you cry. No, no, not at all. It's nothing. Tally breathes quickly and wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. It's just that for so long, I've just wanted to tell you I've been so, how much I've. Yeah, Alder says gently, rubbing Tally's back. Thank you. Now you say you're welcome. That doesn't feel right, Tally mumbles, but you're welcome. Oh gosh, can I please give you a hug? I've missed you so much. Now it's Alder holding back a sniffle as she allows Tally to wrap her arms around her torso. Tally hasn't felt so good in such a long time. She feels Alder's breath in her hair. Craven, know that I'm so, so proud of you. I always have been and I always will. Alder? Sarah. Tally pulls back from the embrace. Could you call me Tally? And is it all right if I call you Sarah? I mean, since we don't really work together anymore and we're not really coworkers anymore, it just feels like maybe we could be something else to each other instead. A slow smile spreads across Sarah's face. Of course, Tally. I'd love to be your friend, if you'll have me. Sarah rummages in her handbag until she retrieves her cell phone. What's your number? Let me add you to my contacts. She stops when she notices the shocked look on Tally's face. Are you all right? Tally is, in fact, not entirely all right, and she doesn't really know why. Um, here's my number. Tally mumbles, holding out her phone to show Sarah. After Sarah has the number and sends Tally an experimental, Hello, it's me, complete with a heart emoji, it finally hits her. For a brief moment, Tally knows she has the option of saying nothing for now. She has only just finally got to reconnect with Alder. Sarah, again. But she blinks, and in the next moment, she has already made her mind up that nothing less than complete honesty will do. I don't want to be your friend, Tally blurts out. As Sarah's eyes widen in surprise, Tally's hand shoots out and grabs Sarah's. I want. I want. Her thumb is tracing circles on the back of Sarah's hand. I want you in my life again, but my feelings towards you have never just been friendly. Sarah is just blinking owlishly at her, so just to drive her point home, Tally pulls Sarah towards her and presses a clumsy, hasty kiss to the corner of Sarah's mouth before pulling back just as quickly. You don't have to do anything with this information, Tally says in a rush. But if you still want to be my friend, you deserve to know that. How I feel. If that's all right with you. Sarah is covering a curious smile with the heel of her free hand, the one Tally isn't holding. She looks at Tally out of the corner of her eye, opening her mouth as if to say something, then closing it again. What? Tally says anxiously. You just never fail to surprise me, Sarah says softly. You really just decide what needs to be done, and you just do it, don't you? I learned from the best, Tally says proudly. No, Sarah grins. You can't pin that on me. That's all you. I love how you assume I'm referring to you when I say I learned from the best. Tally teases, feeling silly, and Sarah surprises them both with a loud guffaw. Oh, wow, I'm nervous. Sarah laughs, squeezing Tally's hand. You've made me very nervous. How is it you always make me feel things no one else makes me feel? Tally doesn't know what to say to that at all. Do you want to come to my place? The giddiness is making Tally bold. Just to talk, I mean. To continue this conversation, that's all. I'd love to see your new apartment, Sarah smiles. Just to talk. Yes. No thinking about anyone's ass, Tally decides. And of course, now she can't think of anything but. Sarah, for some reason, noticing the look on Tally's face, looks delighted.
Please find the fanfiction you just listened to on Archive of Our Own and leave the author some love. Without them, this wouldn't be possible, and we want to thank them from the bottoms of our hearts for creating these amazing stories and keeping the show alive.